Double XP is here, starting today, February 23rd and finishing up February 27th. And in today's video, we're going to be covering some useful tips and tricks to help you maximize your XP gain during Double XP weekend. Regardless if you're trying to hit a particular level milestone for your character, or if you're trying to get in those last few levels on the scoreboard before the new season kicks off next week, we'll be covering everything you need to know. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing we need to cover before we hop into some of those XP farming routes you might like to get stuck into, we need to talk about what gives you XP in the game. Yes, killing enemies and completing side quests and events might reward you with XP, but we need to look at the source of what affects your XP gain and the difference between one person getting 1000 XP per kill on a super mutant and somebody else getting 4000 XP on Double XP weekend. And that boils down to your intelligence. Intelligence will result in the amount of XP you get overall in the game, and the higher your intelligence, the more XP you'll gain. So what can we do to increase our intelligence? Personally, my best advice if you haven't done so already is to try and aim for a low health bloody build during any Double XP weekend, and the reason behind this is that most bloody builds will generally have a full set of unyielding armor, which when you have 5 pieces equipped will increase your special stats by +3, so overall across the board +15 to all of your stats. Unfortunately, that's the benefit when it comes to low health builds, high risk, high reward. However, if you're not comfortable with going low health, full health builds can still increase their intelligence, and depending on the build that you have, in a few different ways, which we'll get into very shortly. However, if you're new to the game and you want to take a shot at running a low health build, you can check out my beginner/mid-game bloodied build guide, which you can find at the top right hand corner of the screen. Next, let's take a look at some things you can do regardless if you're a low health build or a full health build that will help boost your intelligence and your XP gain, and that's going to be food buffs, aid buffs, camp buffs, and perk cards. First thing we'll take a look at will be the easiest, which is perk cards. There are a couple of different perk cards you can equip that will help boost your XP, starting with the inspirational perk card. When you have this equipped and maxed out, you'll gain an additional 15% more XP while you're on a team. So as soon as you join a server, set up a public team and instantly the perk card will kick in. Secondly is the Strange in Numbers perk card. Now I know you're probably thinking that only affects mutations, and you'd be right, but having this card equipped will affect mutations such as the Herbivore mutation and the Carnivore mutation, and whenever you consume food items such as Brain Bombs, Cranberry Relish, Broiled Scorched Beast Brains and other items, the effects of these items will be increased due to either mutation you have equipped. And for a detailed walkthrough on mutations, you can check out my full mutations guide, which I'll link at the top right hand corner of the screen. Moving on to camp buffs. So there are a couple different camp buffs we can take a look at, starting off with the easiest one, which is to give yourself the well rested buff, which means when you sleep in a bed and once the buff kicks in, you'll grant yourself an additional 5% extra XP. Moving on from that, you can also increase your intelligence by using the mechanical derby game machine, which was a scoreboard reward from last season I believe, or look, I could be wrong, but if you don't have this, you can head to somebody's camp and interact with it, and when you do, it will increase your intelligence by +2 for 30 minutes. And lastly, you can also give yourself an additional 5% extra XP by gifting a Nuka Cola Cranberry to Leo Petrov, a light ally you can unlock and place at your camp, which is a scoreboard reward from the current Nuka World on Tour scoreboard, so if you haven't placed them down yet, now is the time to do so. Next, we'll take a look at food and aid buffs, which will require you to do a bit of searching throughout the wasteland to gather the materials you need to either craft the items you need or to give you the buffs you're looking for. First, we'll take a look at the food buffs you can utilize. Personally, and it's my own opinion, but I find running the Herbivore mutation a lot more beneficial compared to its counterpart, the Carnivore mutation, as I find you're able to find more veggie-based materials to craft the likes of Cranberry Relish, which will grant you an additional 25% extra XP, Brain Bombs, which will increase your intelligence by +8, and other food items, but regardless of which mutation you run, both mutations will give you twice the benefits when you consume either veggie or meat-based consumables. But looking at the Herbivore mutation, which is the one that I run with my build, if you craft the likes of Cranberry Relish, this will give you an additional 25% extra XP, but for Carnivore builds, the equivalent to Cranberry Relish would be Tasty Squirrel Stew. And if you craft the likes of Brain Bombs, it will increase your intelligence by +8, which is awesome. And if you're a Carnivore, the equivalent to Brain Bombs is Broiled Scorched Beast Brains. Moving on to some of the aid items you can utilize, and starting off with the first one, which will be Berry Mentats. Berry Mentats can be found around the wasteland at several locations, or can be purchased from vendors or crafted at a chemistry station, but when you consume Berry Mentats, your intelligence will be increased by +5. However, the downside is that you will only be able to use this for 5 minutes, but still a great consumable to take. Next is bobbleheads and magazines. There are basically two items you'll want to try and find, and that's the leader bobbleheads, which will grant you an additional 5% extra XP, and in regards to magazines, you'll want to try and find the magazine Live and Love 8, which will also grant you an additional 5% extra XP, and this will stack on top of each other. And for a guide on where to find bobbleheads and magazines, you can check out my Fallout 76 guides playlist, where I have several videos showing locations and where to find both bobbleheads and magazines. Lastly, and probably one of the best ways to help boost your XP, is to use and open 4 lunchboxes. Yeah, those things you can unlock from the scoreboard, and also purchase for gold bullion from Samuel the vendor, who's located at Foundation, the home of the settlers, or if you so choose to, can purchase from the Atomic Store. But once you open 4 lunchboxes, you will gain an additional 100% extra XP for an hour. So if you've been stockpiling those lunchboxes, now is the time to open them up, as this is a no-brainer. And then the final thing you'll need to do once you're locked and loaded with all of your XP buffs is to head out to whichever XP farming route you're most comfortable with. Yes, some locations are better than others, and some people will tell you go here and use this route, or go here and use this route. But regardless, if you're new to the game or if you've been playing for the past 4 years, go to wherever your heart's desire and start grinding those levels. My own personal recommendation, and this is where a lot of people tend to go to when it comes to XP grinding, is to head over to West Tech, which is infested with super mutants, and while you're here, pretty much just head in and grind away for as long as you like. And there you have it, some of my best tips and tricks on how to maximize your XP gain during Double XP weekend. And if you found today's video enjoyable, consider clicking that subscribe button for more Fallout content like this, and so you never miss out on any videos that I publish. I want to say a massive thank you to all of our channel members and subscribers over here on YouTube, as it means the world to me that you enjoy my content and the work that I produce. For our Bethesda and Fallout fans, if you find yourself shopping on the Bethesda store and would like to support the channel, you can use my creator code BTPineapple022 to receive 20% off of your purchases at checkout. And if you'd like to support the channel in a more personal way, consider checking out my merch store, which has an array of t-shirts, mugs, and other pineapple related merch, which I'll leave a link to in the description of this video. And lastly, to you, the viewer, the person who stumbled upon this video, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, Vault Dwellers, stay safe out there in the wasteland, welcome to Vault 93, and I'll catch you all in the next video.